But basically, LGD, I can't speak. LGBTQ plus community is one of my favorite communities I've ever joined, and I'm so glad that I'm a part of it, and that I support it, and that I help so many others who have been scared to come out. It's just a great feeling to have, like to know you helped someone with something they've been struggling for a really long time.
Yeah, and that's like that is a that is a moral for me that like I want to help people as much as I can, and the sense of helping, like the feeling that you know you have helped someone is a good feeling. And like my dad tried to help everyone, but there was a day where there was a car crash and he couldn't save a victim, and he had a revelation that like you can't save everyone, but you can help people as much as you can. And like I there was a point in time where I was like full on Christian, like I hated that community because I grew up in the South, and like I grew up with people who believed in that, and just people
That's
just like
yeah.
I used to like despise the community. I distanced from my people from there, and like one of my friends who I went to church with at the time was like, I don't think that I'm straight anymore. And then I thought, wow, like a Christian person coming out as like not like being part of that community. And there's like a bunch of people who like there's a bunch of people coming out like in the church, like physically in the church, who were coming out to other friends. And that is like one of the bravest things I have seen in my entire life.
That
And
that
like being in a spiritual place where it is frowned upon, and like saying that you are part of that community in a place that is frowned upon is extremely brave. I I was like, maybe like that community isn't so bad. Like they are very loving and accepting of everyone, no matter like what your sexuality is. They will love you as a person. And that's the same for me. Like no matter like what gender you are, or like what you identify as, it's like I will be as nice as I can be to like to another person. Like you can vouch for me, right? Like you can vouch for me on that.
yeah. Like, I don't give a shit what your gender is. If you're a male, then I will call you him, him, he, sir. If you're a female, she, they. Ha, that's me. She, her, ma'am. If you're non-binary, uh, he, they, them, she, they. I will respect you. If you're gay, I will find you a boyfriend. If you're lesbian, I will try my best to find you a girlfriend. Bisexual, I'll find you a partner. Like, I want to help. I don't care what you are. You are a friend. I care about you. I will help you.
Yeah, and like that is like a big problem in today's society. Like people aren't treating others as human beings who have feelings and beliefs. Like like a lot of Americans, especially in the South, want like a strict control over what people believe. And like especially during like the early colonization of America, the colonizers tried to force the Indians to believe in what they believe, and then they had that big war, and then Thanksgiving was like, you know what, separate but equal, and that went along through today's society. Well, no, I think it went like up to like the 60s or 70s, and then it's like everyone has equal rights. But now, again, in the South, gay marriage is illegal because of Southern people with like Christians and like not like people not accepting change. And like I'm kind of a part of that group, like not accepting change, but that's not a part of like society. It's more like doing something. Like if I have to do something that's out of my routinely period of a day, then I will have to second guess myself because it's something new. I've never tried it, and like the change is just so weird of a routine of my daily life. Like,
Yeah, that's understandable. Some things you have to hate if it's changed.
yeah,
Like a lot of people hated when a lot like God, I forgot what it was, but there's something that everyone collectively hated when it changed. I completely forgot what it was. Damn it!
like,
I'll try to think, but a lot of people sometimes are a time where everyone agrees that something sucks when it gets changed.
yeah, like I think like a month ago, I was playing Punch Out and I was like, you know what, that actually looks fun. Like boxing and like dodging and landing hits feels satisfying. And like to do that in real life would be more satisfying because you're letting out anger when you're training, and that's good for like your mind and soul and also for your physical body because you're getting exercise. And so like my dad actually accepted that, surprisingly, and he took me to a place like 20 minutes away from where I live, and I I went there for like a couple of days. I stopped going because of like schoolwork. I just didn't have the time to go. Like once I get my crap finished, I will go again as soon as possible. And like it like for in the beginning when I first did it, I was second guessing myself because it wasn't part of a daily routine. Like usually I come home, I like grab a snack, a glass of milk, and I go upstairs, do homework, or watch YouTube until dinner, eat dinner, come back upstairs, and then go to bed. That is my routine. But to come home, get dressed for my boxing training is a little out of my routine because I am not used to it. And like in today's society, people have to get used to things. Like when this whole virus started, people had to get used to like wearing masks, staying 6 feet away, make sure like you wash your hands like very frequently because you don't know if you have the virus. People trying to be safe. And like there's a lot of like romantic people or like desperate people who are trying to get some social interaction in the like in in the early stages of the virus. Like people were getting desperate to have social interactions because of the whole quarantine, like staying at home, and like they were going insane because they had to stay home. They couldn't go outside for a specific amount of time. Like you had to be in your home before dark, otherwise the government would force you to stay in your homes because they wanted to keep people safe. And yet, America is one of the most high cases in the entire world, next to like maybe some countries in Europe, because of people not accepting the change in today's world. And like they weren't used to staying home this long, and I can vouch for them. Like in April, like my mom wanted to build a garden, and this was during quarantine. So when we went to Home Depot to get like some dirt and some stones for it, wearing that mask was kind of suffocating. Like it got up in my glasses, and like just the hot breath of my mouth getting like all up in my nose. It was just very uncomfortable. But like once school started and having to wear that like 8 hours for 5 days, if we didn't get quarantined for 2 weeks, you get used to it because of doing it routinely. And people, like some people aren't still like taking this virus seriously because they don't believe that it exists. Like they just want people to like stay home just because. And like it actually can kill people, especially the older people who don't have strong immune systems. And like younger people, they have strong immune systems because it's still growing. And like especially
Yeah.
teenagers and like young adults and like early 20s, because their system is still growing. They're still learning new things about the entire world. And like older people have to stay home longer because of their weakening immune systems. And like especially like toddlers and babies, because like they are still new to this world, and like just being born, especially in this day and age in 2020, like their immune systems are so new, they have to get used to like this environment. And like if they get the virus, it is extremely dangerous because the system is so new, they don't know what to classify as what it is. And like the system goes haywire because it doesn't know what to do. But since like
Yeah.
but since like people in the middle, like teenagers and early 20s, like their system knows what to do and is at its strongest high point of the human body, it knows what to accept into the body and what to defend it from. But as people get older, their system starts to weaken, and they recognize it but is not strong enough to defend it. And that's why older people who get sick have to have a constant, like they have to have a younger person to look after them because their immune system is very stronger than theirs, because like their body knows what is good and bad for that body.
Yeah.
And like people nowadays just don't realize how deadly this thing can be. And like I just said, like the vaccine has been created, but only for emergencies, like people who have a bad case of it. Like, if we can get rid of the bad cases, then we can start vaccinating the common person who might have it but don't know if they have it. Like, they can be quarantined, but they have to stay away from people at least 6 feet. And like,
Yeah.
but like for someone, especially the older people who have it, those vaccines will probably go to them first because of their weakening immune systems. And just like we thought that this year was going to be great because it was the start of a new decade and we left the 2010s behind. But in January, we had a World War III scare because of that bomb